What up, guys? My name is Chris. This is Wheelhouse Trading, and welcome to the Wheelhouse. So, good morning. Hope everybody's doing well. Today is Wednesday morning, and we got a interesting day ahead of us, right? Right here it says traders fret about inflation and countdown to Fed. All eyes are on this. I've been saying in the last couple of videos, we want to know what Jay Powell's going to say. He took transitory away, leading us on that inflation is going to be here for a while. I've already explained my thoughts on that. And I've already explained my thoughts that once the board meets, that they can actually, they have the full autonomy to start the rate hikes. And I'm hearing that there's going to be 3 rate hikes next year, up to 8. I was listening to somebody that's on the board was on TV, and he was explaining a little bit of how it has to, how far they have to go. They have to do 8 different quarter point raises. Basically, from what I was just reading between the lines, and of course I don't know, nobody knows, but what I was reading between the lines is that, they pretty much urgently have to do this. Now, I keep saying markets surprise me, and they certainly do. So today could be a nothing burger, and they could come out and be like, yeah, we're gonna sit tight for a little while. Or they can say that they're gonna do it, be hawkish, get the administration's nod there. Inflation's high, the infrastructure comes through, spending bill, and then maybe they push it out a few months, something like that. But it at least prepares the markets. And right now, markets are on edge. They're cranky. They're jittery. That's what it feels like when trillions of dollars are pulled from the market. That's pretty much what it feels like. I will say, though, I'm like a chart guy. I have multiple screens going, multiple charts on all the screens. And I noticed something very interesting today that I haven't seen in a while. And I pay attention to all kinds of weird things that I just notice. I'm good at pattern recognition. And I noticed that both in the crypto and in the stock market, right about the same time, that there was a pivot. And then I was looking at the money flow index from Bitcoin to like Tesla to like all kinds of things. And like there was an exact pivot at exact time where it rounded and it started going up. And I actually wrote in the Discord, hey, did we just hit the bottom on Bitcoin at 46,460? And they're like, why do you think that? And, I don't know, but it was just very odd that it wasn't diverging and rotating like it normally does in stocks and crypto. It was actually in tandem, which was kind of like a market maker kind of thing. So I have to wonder, was that the bottom? Is it starting to climb up? I went ahead and took a whole bunch of trades, and I hit the bottoms perfectly if it was the bottom. And I'm playing it real tight time frames, but already up on every single trade. And we'll just have to see. But maybe one final flushing for liquidity. Maybe market makers are looking to have one more shakeout, a double shakeout, which really sucks, right? But maybe, this is just a theory, maybe a big shakeout, create enough liquidity. Why would they do that? Well, there's only one real reason why a market maker would shake people out to get liquidity. That's because they actually want to buy those shares, right? So, just a theory. But it was very odd, and I'm going to show you on the charts. I'm going to show you how they all pivoted, including in crypto. So look, tomorrow or today, I'm filming it the day before. We're going to know 2 p.m. Eastern what's going to happen with Jay Powell. Meanwhile, tonight the Senate passes the $2.5 trillion debt limit increase. It's being sent over to the House right now. So that's positive. Things are kind of flowing and moving forward a little smoothly with that. So I'm happy to hear that at least. Now check this out. Let's always look at indexes first, okay? Where are we? The NASDAQ, it's been coming down. Okay. This is when I started telling you guys it was going to come down and to get out. and put your money to the side. And the difference between right in here at 15,947 and 15,237 is about 700 points and a lot of pain. Yeah, so I can see that for several things on the chart. And like I said, if you go to the Discord, like I've been saying in the videos, go to the Discord on next Wednesday, which I believe is the 22nd. I'm going to open the Wheelhouse Wednesday up for all paying and non-paying members, and I'm going to teach you a trick to compound your money on any asset, crypto or stocks. And I'll teach you how to do it so that 2022, you're off to the races, whether you go long or go short. And this is a really good tool. And if you go back to the video where I wrote, what did I write on the thumbnail? I think I wrote 10K to 170K with Bitcoin, 1,700%. And it's just a couple videos back. Go click on that. Go click on that. It tells you what you have an opportunity to learn. I'm going to teach it once for free. And then I'm going to teach, everything to the Jedis, of course, to upgrade. If you do upgrade, you get all the courses. That will be very handy and helpful. You can learn everything about the stock market, crypto markets, day trading, advanced day trading, swing trading, investing, how to navigate markets, how to pick stocks, how to find leaders, spot market tops, spot market bottoms, how to short a market phases. It goes on and on and on. Plus, you have full access to the whole Discord. You get the one-on-one coaching with me. You get 10 hours of that, and you get the Wheelhouse Wednesdays every week in the private area. So that is in there. Just go to the Discord link in the description and click that, verify, go over to frequently asked questions, and you can upgrade to Palawan for just my trade alerts, which have been really on point. I actually just took a sick crypto one, 2 cryptos, and a whole bunch of stocks that have all been hitting. So that's a really good way. And if you really want to learn everything, which is the way I would do it, then just upgrade to Jedi. So on the NASDAQ, again, when rates go up, tech comes down. That's the old adage. There will always be a floor. We never really know where it is. I have a way of identifying when everything is going to come down and when everything is safe to come back in. And then I have another way that's like kind of a little bit more, puts a microscope on the situation and allows you to really see the pivot and the floor instead of having to buy the falling knife and the dip and all that crazy nonsense. It lets you know a certain way where you can just simply wait for that, and then you can just scoop up everything right there off the ground, and you're off to the running. And I'm going to show you an example of that here in just a minute, how I caught Tesla as an example at, I think it was 931 today, and I sold it for 963 and change. So that's like a $32 little move. I hit a bunch of stuff actually. I'll just show you. But look, the NASDAQ, from what I'm seeing on the charts, I mean, look, it is still above the 200. It's still within its long-term trend. The ribbons are still blue. That's positive. The cloud is red. That's negative. All the indicators are negative. Indicators are more short-term, long-term, longer-term, mid-term. So the midterm and short-term analysis is bad, and obviously you can feel that, that. I mean, not like Mr. Captain Obvious here, but there's some positives here. You're staying in the trend line. You are still blue. However, some of the angles coming down on these indicators are pretty sketchy. So just keep an eye on that. Like I've been trying to advise you guys. I kind of took some profits, moved a lot to the side, and I can reevaluate, once the dust settles a little bit. That's why I've been doing a ton of buying. But I found some really premium technicals like Johnson and Johnson and Goldman Sachs and some different things that were just looking good to me. Walmart was another one. About Disney and Visa. I told you about that. We'll take a look at a few. All right, so the Dow is, remember, the Dow is always going to be a little bit safer. It's where the wealthy store their money, whereas the high growth on the Russell and the NASDAQ is where you go to get paid. You put a little more gamble, a little more risk in it, and those are, that's why I call them high growth. So the Dow is always going to be a little safer. It's your Apples, your Microsoft. There's a whole bunch of great companies in there. Nike, I think. There's like, I think Chevron is in there, Verizon's in there. There's a whole slew of them. Anyways, Visa's in there. There's 30 of them. They're all really good companies. They're all companies you know. SPY's been coming down. I actually shorted the SPY a little bit, but I closed my short today. I made money on it. So I just don't know what's going to happen. But I did capitalize on the fear, and I shorted the SPY, made some money, closed it today before market close. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I have a pile of stocks that will probably come down really hard if the market doesn't react well to what Jerome Powell says, and then I'll just bang out a whole bunch of shorts real quick and just rack it in and cover them and just quick reverse day trade. That's what I'll probably do. Always keep an eye on the VIX. It's smart to do that, especially when you want to find bottoms and tops, and a lot of things revert to the mean. That's kind of a little bit of what's going on. You had diverging macros, then you had all the macros going in sync, and then back to a diverging macro, and then you had some interesting liquidity and whale movements that I noticed in the charts today, where it pivoted all at the same time across multiple marketplaces. Very strange, but it doesn't surprise me because I know there's a lot of that going on. That's why I think maybe it was just a big shakeout into this, and maybe a lot of it's priced in. Maybe it won't be as bad as we think. Historically, when rates are raised, it freaks people out. But I mean, Jesus, man, we're talking 0.25% here, 0.25% there. I mean, is it like, do people have to lose like billions of dollars in the stock market and the crypto markets to like over a quarter point? They're that freaking scared? Come on, like, just get over it, dude. It's stupid. Russell, sorry, rant. Russell can't get its head out of its beep. It just it likes to hang out right here lately around the 200. It's never really good to be a magnet with the 200. It makes sense. I mean, this is where all the money was. Last year, I mean, this was all that fun stuff. Making a ton of money. Now it goes back to the Dow, the safer stuff. The guys that earn, have good revenues, good money streams, products, services. This normal stuff. Normal. Like I put in that last video, the reason I picked all those, the McDonald's and the Home Depots and all these stocks, well, a lot of them are Dow, a lot of them pay dividend, and a lot of them have products, services, and have good earnings. And I know that, and I wanted you guys to be safe, and it's good to have the Johnson Johnsons, the Walmarts, and it's just good to have stuff like that in your portfolio. So you can go back and look at that last one, best stocks to buy now. So yeah, let's go take a look at a few things. All right, so Microsoft was one I hit today. It was down like 14 bucks. I tagged it where I bought it. I tagged it with a yellow line. Okay, here's where I bought it. Okay, and this was okay. So let me show you without showing you too much. All right, because you need to click the Discord link, and then I'm really going to show you. So. Okay, you never really, it's really hard to tell when you're like looking at a daily. There's a lot you can tell on a daily, don't get me wrong. Like I know that Microsoft looks very healthy, it doesn't look like it's going to crash or anything. It kind of looks like the NASDAQ. Your midterm is a little sketchy. Your longer term is really good. It was bound to come down. But look, it didn't even break the cloud, and it had a $9 and a $14 drop, and it's starting to break the cloud. But I mean, it took all that pressure to break that cloud. That's a strong cloud. Because the momentum that went into that play, I mean, look, you bought here at 290, you didn't even get out until 338. So, yeah, indicators are showing it's kind of coming down. It started to you can see by the wick, it came right down to the 50. Another manipulative thing. These two wicks are also liquidation wicks. If you don't know what that means, that's market makers coming in, basically saying, "I want all your Microsoft, you paper handing sissy." Beep. And I'm going to push it past the 50 where most people might have a stop loss, and I'm going to, stop you out, profit or not, and I'm going to, then I'm going to swoop back in, I'm going to buy all your stuff. Notice how these two wicks came down through the 50, and then all of a sudden you had a rally? This happens all the time, guys. All right, so a lesson without teaching you a lesson. All right, so all right. So on the mid time frame, which is the mid risk, okay, lowest risk, middle risk, highest risk. Good, 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 good. Doji good, above support good, turning good, bad, bad. Not bad for middle of the road risk. Now, usually if you give it to the hour, you can actually, you'll usually see something. See if we can find one. I don't know. Okay, like here's kind of an example. Here's an example. So like when you want to find a bottom, okay, a lot of times what you'll do is when you have these big like May 13th type, bottoms and these September 20th bottoms and whatever the date is, December 14th is today the 14th? December 14th bottoms. A lot of times what you'll do is you'll have all your stuff drawn in, your swing highs and your pivot lows, and you'll have all that done on the daily. And if you're really interested in the stock and all the way down to scalping and day trading, you'll do all that stuff on multiple time frames, and you'll color code it, and you'll have your channels and your patterns, and I'll teach you all that when you become a Jedi, and I'll teach you thoroughly like I teach all the other guys. But what you'll do essentially in the most basic form is it'll come down here under this 200. It's where people are really going to go short, right? They call it the death cross when the 50, the bottom of the red, and this crosses. This is like a standard classic short point, right? Okay, so you trade with the trend up. This is what's called looks like a W probably to you, but to me it's actually what's called a loose wide weak base, and it's a loose wide weak high base. Okay, that's more of like the official of what this is. Okay, and then it'll come up to a very high point, and you'll have, see, I don't want to get too into it, but basically you'll have the peak, and you got to pay attention to the volume. So right here, volume is drying up. It's actually going backwards as it's going up, and then volume is spiking as it's coming down. So these are things you got to know. Okay. But you don't have to know it. You got me. But if you want to know, I could teach you this stuff. And once you learn how to spot this stuff, you become like a wizard in the markets, okay? So anyways, you got short point, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through it. So boom, boom, boom. This thing is all hell. You're getting rich if you're going short. If you held it and buying the dip, you're screwed. I mean, you are screwed. Put a bullet in your head kind of screwed because you just lost $290 a share. By holding on and buying the dip. That was really bad. And eventually, what'll happen is it'll usually come down to a technical analysis point, and it'll be the first time in a long time right on that point where the the ribbon will actually go blue. Okay? And notice how it peaked above the 200 for the first time in a while. So that very well could be. Now, all the indicators are actually going in the right direction too. So it's kind of like when I don't want to get into all that, but there's these techniques when you're going to go short that you look out for. I see them in charts all the time, but I never ever hear anybody on YouTube ever talking about that stuff. Ever. It's crazy. So this thing's running up, it's coming down. It's something to look at if you're going to make it back above this, and it's your first time with like a blue rally, and it kind of looks like down here. It's starting to turn, and what you would do is you just wait, and look, it's already in the ribbon. It's already there. So here's the lowest point it's ever been. It had a rally, and it's starting another rally. So what you want to do is you want to confirm confirm it to see if it's a bottom on the middle time frame. And right now the indicators look pretty positive there. So a lot of charts are doing that. A lot of charts. So like for instance, I bought Johnson & Johnson on the 1 hour. Okay, so Johnson & Johnson is actually bullish. I've been kind of walking you through it. So they made it above the 200, super bullish. It's got multiple days, big momentum, super bullish. Red is ribbons turning to blue, hella bullish. The cloud is already blue. You had a breakout, and you did a breakout past the previous swing high, which is a trend reversal. So Johnson & Johnson is going to be doing another one of these numbers. Hold on, am I on the daily? What is going on with my chart? It's just been around for so long. Let me just back it up. So Johnson & Johnson is going to be doing another one of these numbers. Whoop. All right, that's what it looks like to me. Another one of these big ones. And yeah, so it's time to get in. Just crossing the 200, that's what you want, because when it crosses the 200 below, it's really bearish. And when it comes back up, that's the time to accumulate. So that's why I picked that up, and this is where I picked it up. Now, I didn't get it in perfect. I did say 3 videos ago where to get it and that I wanted it, but I was waiting for it to get above the 200 and the breakout. There's been other things going on, but I did pick it up right here. All right. Could have done a little better. What I did was I waited. I saw that it was already really bullish. Okay, I was already doing this whole like blue ribbon thing, and I just waited for it to. I waited for it to dump, and then when it dumped, I used my compound strategy that gets you in early before everybody else. And I was able to spot something specific in the chart, and that I do on all the charts, and I'll teach you in the Wheelhouse Wednesdays. I was able to get in perfectly, and then I was able to get in, and then eventually the ribbons went blue. Even though it came down, the ribbon stayed blue. I stayed tight. I stayed with it. Happened again, but you notice it's climbing up to 200 and still in. Looks like it's fallen off in after hours, but you saw it on the daily. It looks good. Another one I grabbed, well, today I did a trade on Tesla. I got in Tesla right here. It was about 931.79, and I actually I got in perfect, and then it started falling here, and I almost sold. I was like, oh, I'll just take my little $3-4 whatever and get out. You know, this thing's gonna fail on me. It's hitting rejection at the 200. I ended up staying in, and luckily it pushed right back up, and it went on a little run. And this is where I sold right here. I sold because it was towards the end of the day, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Tesla is a wild animal. It is showing a lot of bearish traits on the bigger time frames. I better be careful. I can trade in and out of Tesla anytime I want and make $30-35 like I did today. Easy. I did that. I did that literally in hour and a half tops. Maybe it was an hour. It was not far from here to here. These are minutes. So maybe an hour and a half or something. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I got in early. I stayed in the ribbon. And then towards the market close, this was like about 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, so about 30 minutes before market close. I noticed it was going to do another one of these turns, and I thought about it. I was like, do I hold it overnight? It could have a big pre-market. Tomorrow's crazy. This one could lose. You know, it's bearish on the daily. Like, it's overall probably coming down. Let me just sell and take my money. And boom, I got out. Took a $32 rip on that one. I don't know if I mentioned Microsoft, or maybe that's the one that I just mentioned, but I hit this one again with my little compound strategy way, and I got in. It was like 323, I thought. Maybe it was 324. Okay, we'll call it 324. But I got it all the way up. Check this out. I got out. Yeah, it's 328 something, and that says 328.74. It was a little lower than that. Call it 328.50, 328.60. Not bad. Not bad. Little $4 rip. I hit Apple too. I was playing it safe, you know, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, I got Apple real nice today. I was very proud of the way. That was the first one I took. Everything just lined up. I mean, look at straight down the chart. It's like cross, green, cross, going histogram blue, low cross channel, cross, same time, blue volume. I hit that thing. Boom, went to the blue cloud, went to the blue ribbon, held tight, hit resistance, came in, went above, and boom, got out. And I got out right before it went down, you know. Hit that one, really, really good, really happy about that. Lucid's one I got in yesterday. I don't think I tagged it with a blue, but just wanted to let you know, Lucid actually had, I think I got it down in here when it bounced off. And then I'm up on it. I grabbed a little bit. And I actually didn't sell Lucid. I'm still in that one. I'm still in the Johnson Johnson and still in. I sold Apple, Microsoft, and Tesla. I hit Tesla for 32. I hit Apple for, I don't remember. Apple was profitable. And then I shorted a few things too, and I got out of those. So this one I got in at 172 and got out around, it was like a $3 gain or something. 175, yeah, $3 gain there, $4 gain Microsoft, $32 gain Tesla, and then I actually shorted Square, and I made about $4 on that. I started the short yesterday, and then I closed it today. And when it was actually starting to go up towards the close, I exited, because I didn't want to lose my profits. I kept Johnson and Johnson. I kept Goldman Sachs. That's another one that I got in. I'm actually about even on Goldman Sachs. I think I bought it at 389 this morning, and it's at 388.82. So I'm pretty flat on that, but I like Goldman Sachs going into tomorrow. Yeah, so what else? Okay, so this is what I think. The market and the media, might be in a little frenzy today. Can't really say. I just don't know. It could go a bunch of different ways, apparently, with this. He could rattle the markets like crazy, and it could just be, a lot of money pulled out, and the thing, can just come down hard. Or he can give like a timeline and kind of a trajectory of what he's thinking and how he wants to do things that maybe puts the market at ease and gives them like a predictability and a chance to kind of swallow and absorb it instead of just like saying, hey, we're gonna slow the taper, we're gonna double the taper to 30 million, and we're gonna raise rates right after the spring, and we're gonna do 6 of them. I mean, it's a very, very aggressive stance, right? That's what everybody's worried about, is because they don't know. So I don't think that he's going to completely hit us with like such aggressiveness. But then again, I just don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of pressures he has from senators and the White House and global pressures. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and nobody really does. So we'll just wait and see. I tried to give you guys a ton of like protective things. Like I told you before, it was all going to come down to pull it to the side. And if you're in my group, you notice I haven't been trading, but the trades I've been making, almost all of them have been really, really good. There was one that I bought; it was going up perfect, and it failed right on me. And I'm just sitting in that one because it's a good company. And I got caught up in another one that did something like that. The next morning, I was up a bunch, and then it just failed on me the next morning, and I actually took a loss on that one. These things happen. You're never going to hit every one of them perfect because, as good as your indicators and your system is, some guy that you don't know could say, hey, you know what? I'm selling $2 billion of this stock right now. And you just happen to be caught up in that. So, but speaking of systems, one thing I wanted to kind of mention to everybody is one thing that I've learned over time when being in the stock market, investing or trading, whatever it is that you like. The one thing that you got to do is you got to pick a process. If that's buy and hold, that's your pick, and that's your process you pick. If it's supports and resistances, if it's using the EMAs, if it's breakout strategies, if it's day trading, if it's gap up, gap downs. I mean, you got to pick your trade setups, and you got to pick your what works best for you. And don't fight the system. If something's not working good for you, don't keep doing it. Focus on what does work good for you, and do that. And I know what works good for me. I have multiple setups, even on multiple time frames, depending on what I'm trying to achieve. And but my new probability system with the compounding is, I think for me, it's the way. It's the way to take whatever amount of money you have, and if you have the time to sit from a screen and do it exactly in and out, like I say, you can turn your money into huge, copious amounts of money over time. That number really doesn't even have a number on it, because it depends if you can if you can sit in front of crypto 18 hours a day and just move your money to the side before you go to sleep and restart the next morning and do that 7 days a week, you're going to be rich, man. You can do the same with stocks. I like doing both, but with stocks, I get a break. I mean, the stock market closes, so I can go to sleep. I can do other things and come back in the morning and work that shift, basically. And I do a lot of crypto stuff at night, but sometimes with my method, you might be in for a lot longer. They're not all day trades. These are some of these you can be in for 4, 6, 7 weeks, not in this market, but when we get back to a normal market, you'll see some of them much longer. Some you can be in for years if you hit it right and it's got the right momentum and it's leading in its sector. And we'll get into all that. Just click the Discord link. But yeah, I mean, this compound strategy is, look, I was able to get Apple and go up and down and get 128% out of it in 7 trades. In and out. Bitcoin 10 grand to 170. And I'm doing all kinds of simulations right now on all kinds of different stocks and assets, and I pretty much have it all honed in. It's working really good. I don't think that, not one of my trades today didn't enter perfectly, exit perfectly, and maximize the money. Okay, they all were good. And then I did have a short. I did take a short, and I did nail it really good, and I left the short open. I nailed it really good, and it came down, and I was in the profit. And then at the end of the day, it started to rally, and it ended up about 100 shares of it. And it came up, and I lost my profit. I'm actually backwards like $40. But I watched that on the minutes. But you go to the 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 3 hour, the 4 hour, the 6 hour, the 8 hour, the daily. This thing looks like it is still going to come down quite a bit. It's okay. It has one little dollar move in there. This thing looks like it's going to be coming down and print me like $50 a share, like quick. So yeah, I lost a little bit on that one, but I mean that's just trading. But I haven't lost because I haven't actually closed and covered that short. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to come down. So yeah, but everything else is really good. I'm going to teach it to you for free. Wednesday night. Make sure you're in that Discord. I'm only going to teach you one time because this can make you millions of dollars. I've worked my butt off on this. I've spent thousands of hours working on the system. I'm going to show it to the world, and I've already showed it to some of the Jedis. They're already using it. I'm going to reiterate stuff so that they really understand it. And it's a 12-point system. It's a probability system. You're looking for X amount of things. They all have to sync up at the same time. That's a green light. Green lights to the beach, baby. If they don't, it tells you, it's going to fail. There's a few different methods to enter in different time frames and graduate the process up and then cut it in a specific way as well. And then you go up and down and you compound with a certain system when everything syncs to get out and everything syncs to go up. If they're not synced, then all bets are off. So, and I have specific indicators with specific settings. The guy that made one indicator didn't know the guy that made the other one. And what I did was I tweaked all their settings. I went in and I tweaked all their settings like a mad scientist. And I was able to go through thousands of charts. And while looking at them, figured out that when A, B, C, D, E, and F all happen at the exact same second or minute, whatever, or even day, depends on the chart that you're on. It's telling you to get in before everybody else gets in, and then vice versa to get out. And so it's actually quite interesting, and it's working really well. And I've simulated the hell out of it, and I think I'm going to make a fortune this next year. It doesn't matter about supply chain shortages. Doesn't matter if there's a market crash. Doesn't matter what the Fed is doing. None of it matters with my system. It literally, you go up and you go down based on momentum, trend, and probability. And, you might not hit 100%, but you're probably close to the 90, 95%. And if you do it perfectly, you're in the 90 to 95% of the entire move that it makes up and down of the year. You will miss a dollar here and there because you're not going to be like perfectly out, perfectly in. Like you want things to confirm, and we'll get into it in the meeting. But yeah, click that Discord, and I'll teach you all that. I do think that the last couple of weeks going into the new year, there shouldn't be too much catalyst and news. They might be talking about the inflation, but that's probably going to be what the news is. And, you know, we got Christmas coming, and yeah, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you need to have a process and a system, and I will donate you mine. It'll be my Christmas gift to you. That's what I'm going to teach you guys. That's why I got on YouTube, man. I was like retired. I don't need to do this. I could just make a ton of money myself and not do YouTube. It's kind of a pain in the butt for me, to be honest. Like, I don't really like being on camera. A, B, I don't make any money on YouTube, so I'm like doing it for free. Like, it's, you know, and now I'm like worked and did all this, and I'm going to teach it to you for free. So, you know, I want to do that. I want to give that gift. And if you're looking to be wealthy and learn the strategy, then you'll click the Discord. You'll get in there. You'll say hi to everybody, and you'll learn it, and you'll walk away with something you'll have for the rest of your life. And that'll be my gift to you. But one thing I do want to say is that if you're jumping from strategy to strategy to strategy, ultimately you'll probably fail. Okay, you have to have a strategy. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Whether it's scalping a specific way off the 9, or you're a breakout trader, or you know how to buy a pullback from a, you know, on the pivot, you know, into momentum, whatever that looks like. Okay, maybe you're a base breakout person. You know, there's all kinds of different trade setups. You know, and you have to choose, you know, your process. And most people lose a lot of money, and it's not because Jerome Powell, and it's not because the stock market is falling. It's because they panic sell, or they FOMO, or they're basically their own worst enemy. Okay, that's basically what it has been for many, many years. So you have to have a system and a process. And I'm a coach. I coach people. I can help you if you're losing money, and if you're struggling and you need somebody to talk to. I have the one-on-one coaching, and I do that every single day, 2 hours a day, with 2 different students. And after the market closes, and you know, that helps people tremendously. And then I do the group trainings, and you have the courses and all that fun stuff. So you can click the Discord link, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button if you don't mind, make me a comment, select all so you get the notifications. And, you know, I'll try to help you out, give you some premium technicals. I'll walk you through, you know, everything. If it gets bumpy, kind of give you some strategies. Like I had said, hey, it's coming down, pull it to the side. Could have saved you millions, right? You know, hey, here's some good ones you might want to look at, but I'm not buying yet. Kind of trying to tell you, you know, what's up. And I'll continue to do that for you guys. And, you know, hopefully, you know, once the dust settles and we kind of confirm a bottom, we just come in and boom, we just kill it. So it'll be fine. You just got to let the market do what the market does. That's what the market does, you know. It goes through cycles and it reverts to the mean. That's just very, very common, you know. Let it do its thing. You know, it's like a pendulum, right? It swings. Okay, so and you got the mean. Like, call the mean the 200. So it swings up and it swings down. It swings up and it swings down. You know, it's just how it goes, and it always comes back to the middle. You know, and that's just what's going on. You know, we had a propped up market. We had a ton of stimulus. We had a ton of injection of cash flow. People had to stay at home. They had stimulus money. They threw it in the stock market. They threw it in the crypto markets. It completely went up, right? For lack of a better term, it inflated. Sorry, bad joke, bad timing. It inflated pretty heavily, and, you know, assets rose, equities rose, real estate values rose, okay? And, you know, now they're slowing down on that money printing, at least for that part of the stimulus. They're still doing, you know, the other types of stimulus and money printing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, just the debt ceiling alone, the infrastructure bill, I mean, there's plenty of money still coming out. But, you know, it was a propped up market was the point, and now it's kind of deflating. And it's historically a thing when rates go up that certain things happen. One, real estate values might come down, okay? Financials should do well, as an example. Tech typically will suffer. It'll rotate, you know. So this is just all like the way it works, and yeah, we'll just kind of take it one day at a time, and, you know, try to make the best decisions. But this is what I recommend. You do what I do, okay? In times like this, you know that the best money comes out of a correction, okay? You know how to spot the bottoms. And in the meantime, you pull it to the side because you know how to get out before everybody else. And then You know how all those guys are pulling trillions out? Well, that's what I did. I pull it out like when they pull it out. You know, I don't sit through it all. I got caught up in a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but nothing like I could have been. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then I just trade through it to make it back, and it is what it is. But it'll find its base. It'll find its bottom, and you know, new leaders will emerge, and this always happens. So be positive about that and have a plan. You can talk with me if you want to talk with somebody, and you know I'm easy to talk to. And then what I was going to say is just build a watch list. Like I have my watch list like coming for 2022. These are things that I'm going to be going up and down with, and a lot of it's like big companies, like huge companies that earn money and that have huge contracts. I have Lucid, Bitcoin, DocuSign, Shiba's in there because I already have a shitload of it. Link, Solana. NUE, Coin, Ethereum, AMD, Palantir, Goldman Sachs, Johnson Johnson, Walmart, JP Morgan, Monster Beverage, Pfizer, Nvidia, Polkadot, Chevron, PayPal. Notice a lot of these are like huge companies and they have a dividend too, you know. They're just a little safer. PayPal, Caterpillar, CrowdStrike, McDonald's, Facebook, Amazon, FedEx, Visa, SoFi, Starbucks, Home Depot, Apple, Tesla, Disney, Boeing, Google, Airbnb, Crown Castle, Sam, Boston Beer, Square, Shopify, Microsoft, DraftKings, Datadog, Adobe. Yeah, they're all big names, right? They're all like headliners. But the thing is like with the market that we're coming in, it might not necessarily be like the Russell, the Russell and NASDAQ type stuff. You know, it's going to be more the mid and large cap possibly. And there will be probably some safety and dividend money moving around. And you know, it's just a different vibe, and it's like a vibe that it used to be. You know, is what I think could happen, and the market always surprises me. For all I know, like tech will just come raging back, and they'll say, "Hey, we're raising interest rates up 9 times in the next quarter," and tech will come back. Who freaking knows, right? You can't even put your thumb on it anymore. It's just best thing to do is have a process, have some people to talk to, have a system, build your watch list. Hey, I'm going to buy in and out. I'm going to do it this way on these stocks. You know, if it gets to be too much, I'll cut it down. I'm going to have, 5% of each of my money across 20 stocks. Well, you just have a system and a process. That's going to work best for you. And if you follow that system and process at the end of the year, you're just in a lot better situation than you are from doing all the panic selling and the FOMO and the freaking out. And, my system, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You just follow the system. In and out. You got to sit in front of a computer. You got to follow the system, and it'll keep you on track. Okay, so things will move on the chart if things are going crazy in the news. Okay, and when they move and you see it do a certain thing, that tells you get out. Period. Okay, so click the Discord if you don't mind. Subscribe. Do all that good stuff for me. I appreciate you for watching, and welcome to the Wheelhouse.